at the crossroads of commerce and community. This is 95.3 MNC's Marketplace on Newstalk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And I'm John Zimney. Today's program is brought to you by Parkwood Auto Spa, home of the Buy 5, Get 3 free. Find a location near you at parkwoodautospa.com. Hey, so we're here this afternoon in studio. We have Joe Ruiz. He's a teacher at LaPorte High School, and he's also a musical artist. You might know him as the Rhymer Educator. Good afternoon.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, doing good. A little bit of rap there. Hey.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into the reason why Joe is here is because the big Pitbull concert is happening this Friday, and Joe is the opening act for Pitbull.
We are, yeah, me and my band. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a great party for South Bend that night.
Yeah, so how old are you? Let's get into
I'm 34 years old.
34, and did you always want to be a musical artist or an entertainer? Or?
Yeah, so I began making music and writing songs when I was about 16 years old, and I did it with my college roommates in college, and we used to record all kinds of stuff. Then when I got a little bit older and got married and started having a family, I kind of set it aside because I felt it wasn't maybe the most pragmatic or practical dream that I could have.
Lucrative to support a family on.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know what your chances are of being successful in the entertainment business, you know?
Which are kind of slim, but you're beating the odds.
You were chosen.
So far.
Yeah. And so, you know, I went and got a degree in business, ended up getting an MBA. So now I'm an MC with an MBA. I always say, there's the rap again. And then I became a teacher. And when I became a teacher, I found myself with, you know, it's really busy during the school year, but I have summers off. And one of my students actually dug up some old audio files from when I was in college, and they came to me and they were like, "Hey, I found this. Is this you?" And I said, "Yeah, it is." And he's like, "Well, you got to make an album. Why did you ever stop making music? This is great." And so I found an opportunity there to kind of engage the kids that I was working with in a new way, something that other teachers definitely weren't doing.
Oh, sure.
And to make myself a little bit more marketable and a little bit more interesting to demographic teenagers who are generally hard to impress in a lot of ways. You know, that was kind of the beginning goal. But then as soon as I got back into making music, I just fell in love with it all over again. And I thought to myself, well, I've got the kind of the practical, what pays the bills side of my life down at this point. Maybe it's time to have a dream again. And that's where it started.
You know what? That's kind of a smart, pragmatic way to do it, though.
Yeah.
And how awesome that you have the summers off so you can really kind of focus and hone and, create more songs or more albums, CDs. What do they call them these days? I honestly don't download.
Yeah, streams. Yeah.
I want to see who you want. I'm going to say something so wrong. I'm going to make waves. I'm going to be freaking your ocean like long.
I got to ask this. So what's the first day of school like for your students? And do you rap in class?
No, I mean, I've occasionally had people ask me. And if you go back and listen to the Rhymer Educator Project, which is the album that I dropped in September of 2018, I try and make it kind of the start to finish of the first day of school. So even though it's a bunch of independent songs, there are skits kind of peppered throughout it that paint like the opening bell and the closing bell of the first day, and then conversations with students about the fact that I do make music and things like that, answering questions, and I do a little bit of rap in front of the class. So there's that educational element where I'm just trying to create, the narrative of here's a school day for me. But, it just kind of depends. I think at this point, most people in my community know what I'm up to, especially since we're getting some high profile shows, and it's not a surprise to anybody anymore. So this year is going to be a little bit different than years prior. I'm sure I'm going to have to answer a lot more questions to people that are coming in when we start on Monday, because 5 days after we start the school year, 2 days for the kids, we're going to have this huge concert.
Yeah. Now, how do you go from a teacher at LaPorte High School who dabbles in music to all of a sudden you're opening for Pitbull?
Yeah, so time and place is a lot. We started this project in January of 2018. I didn't know if I would be able to fund one song. By September, I'd funded an entire album.
How?
So it started out just like with a GoFundMe. I said, if we can raise enough money on GoFundMe for one studio song, I'll write the song, I'll go in and record it, I'll put it up for sale online, and then whatever we sell for that, I'll sell 50% of the proceeds will go towards recording another song, and the other 50% will go towards a local charity. So we selected the PAC Center, which is the it's like a food bank or a food providing organization that kind of lives locally in a food desert in our community, and they help to feed people who don't have access to food and good ingredients, and also help out with like employment help and, moms need, diapers and bottles and hygiene products or anything of that nature. They're affiliated with the church that I attend. And so we, decided we were going to give back to them. And I wrote some business proposals to businesses in the area, which, imagine trying to sell a hip hop album to a largely rural area and saying, will you invest in this for me, this teacher who's rapping? Like, it's a very hard sell. And yet we were able to do it with companies like American Licorice and Cubit Networks, General Insurance Services. They took care of us, and we ended up funding the album by September. Once that was done, I had a little bit of extra money to put into marketing and some singles. I did that and then acquired a band, and then it began to kind of go full steam ahead around November 2018 with the band. And, fast forward a year and a half later, and we're opening for Vanilla Ice and Pitbull, and it's crazy.
How did you get those businesses to invest? I mean, was it just, I sent them an email, or did you show up? Did you, do some music in front of them?
No, I wrote a 4-page business proposal, and I called them just like out of the blue, and I said, can I speak to, whoever's in charge of charitable giving or maybe even marketing? And so I said, listen, I'm a teacher at the high school, which businesses in LaPorte, they support our school corporation. Yeah. They're very, very much into, it's just a huge part of our community, giving back to the kids who are then going to come out and work for them afterwards. And so when I explained that I was a teacher at the high school, that was automatically, a good, valid reason to be there. And then I said, I want to run something by you. It's a little bit of an unorthodox fundraiser for the PAC Center, which is also a known entity in the community. And I explained to them how the kids found the audio files and wanted to do something. And I said, I've got a full proposal so I can show you exactly what I would like to do with the money that you would provide should you choose to invest in what we're doing. And I would love the opportunity to email that to you and see what you think. And I would just get an email address that way. And if they agreed that I could email it to them, I would. And we got more yeses than nos in that event because I think they just saw a teacher that was trying to do something different, to do something good for the community and engage with the kids at the high school. And like I said, once that project was done, then it was about, wow, we actually accomplished that. Now we can't just stop. So how can we make this thing even bigger?
She got a firm way about her when she speaks in her superlative.
Once again, we're talking with Joe Ruiz. By day, he is a teacher at LaPorte High School. At night, he is the rhymer educator. It's kind of like a Clark Kent Superman thing going on.
It is, without the phone booth.
Yeah, exactly. And if we haven't mentioned it, Joe teaches business and marketing to high schoolers. And so you're kind of taking what you teach in the classroom and applying it to yourself.
Yeah, it's amazing how, when I talk about, like, I didn't really make it musically in my 20s, I wouldn't have known how to. And then I see the progress that we're making now, and this business is all about who you know, what kind of connections can you make. But you also have to have a certain skill set in order to make connections that are going to be long-lasting, good connections. And so I think it took getting that business background and that business experience to be where I'm at right now. And I think that's why we're having this momentum and the success that we're having, because I think if you look at most local, especially in the rap genre, artists, they see people who are making money professionally in the genre, and then they just try to, even with their behavior and their lifestyle choices, emulate the things that they see on TV or hear on the radio. And to me, the visual side of it is all fantasy. At the end of the day, it's just a business. So you have to be able to speak to people professionally and know how to work out win-win scenarios and things that are mutually beneficial between promoters who are trying to make money, artists who are trying to sell tickets, and then people like me who are just trying to make a name for themselves. So I've gotten into I've hit a sweet spot where I'm trying to create win-win situations, and so far it's been really successful.
Joe, let's talk about your music. Do you write it yourself?
Yeah. So when I started, I was buying beats from independent producers who sell their work. And then I was writing to those. Now that I have a band, I have a lot more flexibility. And so we're writing and recording some new things. But lyrically, I've written everything. I set up arrangements. I rap, I sing, and I try and do so in a way that's not overly vulgar or...
Well, that was actually going to be my next question, because as a teacher, you're teaching a set of values to high schoolers. And I think, and especially in the 95.3 MNC audience, when people hear the word rap music, they automatically assume or have a perception that it's R-rated or
right.
X-rated, and it's full of words we can't say on the radio.
Sure. So there's really no cussing in my music at all. My intention is not to be like every other rapper. I'm somebody who's in a unique position, and I want to uplift people with music. And I still want to have a good time. And, the other misconception then that I have to fight, though, is just because I'm a teacher who makes music doesn't mean that my music is conjunction, junction, what's your function? There's no schoolhouse rock. I'm still talking about peace, love, positivity, relationships, you know what I mean? And so there's still songs that I would want to be on the radio, and I write them with the intention of putting them in that space, but I just don't talk about things that would make me ashamed to look at my kids in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, because, or even, look at yourself in the mirror in the morning as well and say, is this who I am? Or, how do you measure your success at this point? I mean, I consider your career on the rise.
Yeah. So, and I have friends who say I'm already successful, but for me, it's a couple of things. One, it's, growth. 2019, I said around New Year's, when everybody was putting out their New Year's proposals or resolutions, that 2019 was going to be a year of growth for Rhymer Educator. I wanted to acquire new fans. I wanted to see my numbers on all social media and streaming and everything go up. Acquire a new fan base, and then by 2020, my business plan is I want to expand beyond our kind of local market here, and I want to get into Chicago and start branching out a little bit. And so far, we're well on track to do that. So success to me is, I guess, whether I can meet my benchmarks and the goals that we're trying to make for ourselves. If we see that growth, then we're successful. And then long term, if the paychecks reflect the successes and the small amount of local fame that we're able to acquire, then I suppose that's success too.
Mm-hmm. Feedback from the family. What is when you say to your wife, "Hey, this is kind of what I want to do with my summers," and then the kids catch wind of it, what's been the family reaction?
So my kids, they think it's cool no matter what. A friend of mine sent me, we had a video, we did the Taste of Michigan City the other night on Saturday or Friday. And my son was in the audience, my 7-year-old. And my friend shot a video and sent it to me after the show. And it was while I was on stage doing a song called Infinity. My son was rapping every word as he stood next to one of his friends. And so, that kind of stuff is really cool to see. I know that my kids are invested. And in my kids' eyes, I'm already famous. It's a low bar with them, though, because they think if you have a YouTube channel and you put videos on YouTube, you're famous.
Yeah, and your son is 7. And
my daughter's 10, and then we have a 14-month-old also, so we have a young baby. All right.
Well, it may change by the time they hit 13.
Yeah, I'm positive that it will lose favor with them in their teenage years. But for now, when we opened for Vanilla Ice last month, my daughter, my 10-year-old, and her friend, she brought her friend to the show, and afterwards they were waiting on me to give them a ride home. And Vanilla Ice walked off stage from his set, and he saw these two kids.
Oh, my God.
And he walked up and was like, "Hey, did you guys enjoy the show?" And he knelt down and he took a selfie with them, and they just thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And they were kind of in heaven because, their gym teacher would play Ice Ice Baby while they were out kicking the ball around in gym.
Oh, sure.
So they were familiar with it, even though,
great.
He was more of a star in the 90s. They were still familiar with his work. And so right now they think it's really cool. My wife, I think she wishes that, there were less practices or something, but I think she gets that, the work you put in is kind of the output that you're going to receive. And with a young baby at home, at times it's been challenging, but I think with her, it's all about keeping her surprised, just when she starts to think, okay, hasn't this thing kind of gone as far as it can go? I'm like, oh yeah, we're opening for Vanilla Ice. And she's like, you can't be serious right now.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then Pitbull, I said, I'm going to try and reach out and open for Pitbull. And she goes, yeah, okay, Joe. And then when I actually got the gig, she was like, how are you doing this?
Oh my God.
And there's a part of me that doesn't know how I'm doing it.
How are you doing this? And by the way, take out the trash.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're still dad at home. And and you're still
I always know, I'm like, all right, yes, I'm a rock star tonight, but I'm going to be washing bottles when I get home tonight. I'm going to be cleaning the kitchen, doing dishes, whatever it is that I would normally do. And tomorrow is just going to be a down day, and I'm just going to be a parent. But you just kind of latch onto those little moments at home, and also latch onto those moments when you can go out and perform and have a good time.
Yeah. Now, and again, I'm going to remind you, and I want to, make sure that people know how to listen to your material and all that. So we're talking with Joe Ruiz, teacher at LaPorte High School, the Rhymer Educator. Do you have a website, a Facebook page? Give us
absolutely. We're
all the digital stuff.
If you go to rhymereducator.com, that's the easiest way to find us. There's links there to all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then you also have musical links there. So if you listen to music on Apple Music or Spotify or even just like Bandcamp or something like that, you can find links there, or even YouTube. So anywhere that you would want to get in touch with us, you can find it at rhymereducator.com.
Now, recording in a music studio is one thing. Mm-hmm. Performing in front of a live audience of thousands is something completely different.
Yeah.
Do you get nervous?
Yeah, there's always butterflies, no matter what. But that's just part of the process. At the end of the day, I'm confident in my songs and I'm confident in what I do. And I think that I have talent for this. And I think that I've got something to say. And so for me, there's nerves that come along with, okay, I'm positioning myself next to these bigger acts because I want to leverage my fame with theirs and try and generate, a growing fan base. But when it's time to perform, my job is not to be, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm opening for. It's to go out there and give everything I've got and make the audience realize that I deserve to be there.
Mm-hmm. How long when people go to the Pitbull concert on Friday and you come out on stage, what can they expect?
Well, we're going to play 30 minutes prior to Pitbull. So, in the past, if you've ever seen a Rhymer Educator show, you know that we call it a hip-hop jazz fusion band, and it's a 4-piece. It's me, it's a bass player, it's a drummer, and it's a key player. But for this show, we're kind of pulling out all the stops. We've hired some session musicians, so we're going to have some backup singers. We're going to have an electric guitar player. We're going to have an auxiliary percussionist, so timbales and congos and bongos. Probably going to get a saxophone player. And these are some of the best musicians that I've come across. We're going to get up there and we're going to put on a fun, Pitbull-worthy opening that's going to move the city.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And by the way, tickets for the show are still available. You can get them through the South Bend Cubs box office, or if you go to pitbullsouthbend.com, you can get the tickets there. Joe or Rhymer Educator? See, now I don't know what to call you. Are you Clark Kent or are you Superman at this moment?
I think I guess I'm wearing both hats, right?
What else would you like the MNC audience to know about what it is you're doing?
I hope that what the MNC audience takes away is that there's a teacher who's doing something that's out of the box in the community. And Rhymer Educator, it's a musical act, but first and foremost, it's about being an example of somebody who's in pursuit of a dream. And I think that every person, no matter what demographic, has a dream at some point. And I think that a lot of people put those dreams aside for one reason or another. I want to be the embodiment of someone who chooses not to put that dream away, but also carries that torch and runs with it and tries to make the most out of it and makes a life well lived. As an example to the students that I teach, but also just to the people that are around me in the community, because we can, I don't know, like age doesn't have to limit us. There's no timestamp on a dream. We can go out and if we know how to talk to people and make, build relationships and make friendships, we can make whatever impact we want to make. Mm-hmm. And that's what Rhymer Educator is set out to do, what we're determined to do, and what I think we're doing pretty well right now.
on. Turn down the sheets, I take my nap upon an intellectual.
All right, it's Joe Ruiz, teacher at LaPorte High School. He's the Rhymer Educator. And again, your website?
RhymerEducator.com.
Check it out. Hey, good luck, and hope you have a great show on Friday.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John.
And that'll do it for today's 95.3 MNC Marketplace, brought to you by Parkwood Auto Spa, home of the buy 5, get 3 free. Find a location near you at parkwoodautospa.com. I'm John Zibney. Have a great rest of the weekend.
For more information about today's show, check out our page on 953mnc.com. Listen again next week, where the crossroads of commerce and community meet, for 95.3 MNC's Marketplace on News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.